Hi, I'm Danger Dan Jers, the host and GM of the D&D Real Play podcast, D&D Dark. Join us on Wednesdays for an absurd, over-the-top comedy horror adventure, starring some of history's most infamous monsters.
I'm Ben Magnet. I play Mary Frankenstein, our barbarian.
I am Daniel Cruz. I am playing Imhotep the Mummy, our cleric.
I'm Jordan, and I play Larry Talbot, a lycanthropic warlock.
I am Grayson, playing Jet Griffin, the Invisible Man, the party's rogue.
I am Aaron. I play the Phantom of the Opera, our bard.
For more information, go to dndarkpodcast.com and listen to us anywhere you find podcasts.
Hey everybody, this is Davis over at the CFG, and I would like to welcome you to another episode of Pop Culture Gems. This is a series where we talk to amazing creators, artists, cosplayers, voice actors, and so much more. If you like the interviews we do with our amazing guests, give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our YouTube channel, the CFG channel, or you can either go to our website, confreaksandgeeks.com, to check out the full backlog, or any podcast services out there. Today, I am with the incredible voice actor that crushes the roles that they are in. He has been in several series you have known and loved. He has played the parfum-lusted magician Ichiya Wandale Kotobuki in Fairy Tail, one of the seven warriors Gecko Moria in One Piece. I'm sorry, warlords, that's seven warlords Gecko Moria in One Piece. Balgus from Escaflowne, Moruto from Dr. Stone. But you may remember him as the Lord of the Underworld, Momonga, aka Ain's Old Gone from the Overlord series. I'd like to welcome Chris Guerrero to the show. How are you doing, sir?
It is great to be here. Yes, bow before my power.
But yeah, no, I'm glad to be here. It's been a while since I've done an interview, so I hope I'm not too rusty on this because I'm just like talking about myself. How do I do that?
Oh yeah, well, it's not gonna really be like, this is not gonna be like a normal kind of interview. This is a chill interview. It's usually kind of geeky. It's mostly, so it's like laid back. Hey, whatever comes to mind, it's all good. That's what I'm here for. So
love it. Yeah, because you're giving off. Since I began talking to you, you give off really nice chill vibes.
No, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, but I mean, that's one of the cool things, though, that's good. But no, I'm really, it's funny. I've been wanting to talk to you for a while. I've been I have a list. Because I had a goal of people. I was like, I really would love to talk to other people. You were on my list for the past year, so I'm totally hyped to talk to you to kind of pick your mind a little bit.
Oh so, yeah, please pick up my brains. Here, I have a little for you.
Oh, okay, cool. Don't mind if I do. But well, it's good. Let's geek out. I'd love to geek out with you today. So let's get this party started.
All right.
So so basically, let's start off with something simple. Probably something that you've said or been asked multiple times. But what is your story? What is what got you into voice acting initially?
Gosh, it's kind of funny because the thing I wanted to be as a kid was a video game programmer, because that was my escape as a child. Because I was a classic, I was a bigger boy. I was bullied in my elementary days, middle school days. And, to kind of get away from all those woes of real life, I would, play my Super Nintendo, my PlayStation. And they were a big focus of my life at that time, because it was just this nice getaway. And I was like, man, these games have been such a big part of my life. I'd like to become a programmer. Unfortunately for me, you have to be kind of good at math, which I was not good at math. And also, context too, my first time experience with theater was in middle school, and I did not do good at all. Also, I don't think my teacher was very good at all. So I don't have many memories, but I was never into play or anything. It was mostly like, script analysis and things like that. Pretty boring. It wasn't engaging. So when I got to high school, of course, I had to take humanities, and I don't know. I was like, just put me in anything. I ended up being in a theater class, and in the first day, I believe the teacher's name was Mr. Stevens, and very, very energetic. I believe he just fresh out of college. And he's like, yeah, I'm really ready to learn and teach theater and all that stuff. So, very youthful spirit, really wanted to connect with his students. And he basically said, so we're holding auditions for this play called The King's Stag, if I remember correctly. And if you get a role in the play, you will get extra credit in the class. So me having the experience in middle school not doing too well, I was like, well, I'm probably not going to do really good in this class, so I might as well try to get a part, try to make up for it, or try to get something passing. So I auditioned, and, very nerve-wracking because I really never had any theater experience before. And, about like a week later, I was told that I got a part of not guard 2, but guard 1.
Oh, snap. that has a pay bump, doesn't it?
Exactly. I was made a big splash already. I was like, really? You think? But maybe it was because I was taller than guard 2 in the end.
Whichever way gives you that advantage, so there you go.
Exactly. And from there, I just like the process of it. And it really did help me open up a lot because when I got to high school, that's when things really got better for me, mentally, socially, because, I wasn't in middle school anymore. Nobody was, high school, people are petty and stuff like that. But like the people I interacted with were more mature. And, didn't like make fun of like, cause I was still bigger set then.
Yeah.
But I was like trying to lose weight. But, I had nobody disparage me about my weight or my looks or anything like that. So that was very, very nice for a change of being in school, because school had always been a chore for me, but this was like, oh, I can't wait to go to school and do theater class. You do all the other classes, like, it's whatever, but theater.
You're actually looking forward to going to that class instead. But it's actually kind of surprising because usually the story when you're growing up is you love school initially. Then when you get to high school, it's when it gets tough. And then in your side, it seems like everything was reversed. Like early days, middle school was the tough time. And then high school was the time you were actually enjoying it.
Yeah, it was completely flipped on its head. It was like, all right. And it helped that I had a lot of good teachers there too that, built me up and all that. And my theater teacher at the time at high school, Mr. Smithers, was really, really, because it was like Mr. Stevens, the assistant director, because he was a new guy. And then the older theater teacher there, Mr. Smithers. And, they were very, very super kind, supportive, always wanted to try to draw out the creativity in you. And I just kept doing theater throughout the entirety of my high school days. And that kind of coincided because, I was also big online user, and I used to go to a website called newgrounds.com. I'm sure you might have heard of that.
Oh, yeah.
And so I would go there, and I would go to the forums, and I would go to the RP forums. So they had like different clubs, but they were like subsections of different things. So I was part of the Ninja Club, which was just like a ninja RP. And I know one day we started beef with the Samurai Club. And so, we were kind of trolling and all that. And our club board got shut down. So we ended up making our own like little forum. And one of the members was like, hey, I'm getting into like pixel animation. And I wanted to make it like this, because it was just like he was taking like Mortal Kombat sprites and like recoloring them. But he was basing them around our characters that we wrote about. So it's like, so if y'all have like a microphone, I'd love to get y'all to like do some voices for this little project I'm working on. I was like, oh, wow, that's so cool. So I went to Best Buy and bought like a really crappy $20 USB mic. But hey, you know, you got to start somewhere.
Right. Yeah.
And so that kind of coincided with me beginning theater. So they kind of started in tandem. But I could also say maybe I was doing voices already because I would do voices as a kid. But mostly my mom would, when I would do stuff like that, my mom would call me a smartass.
Well, like,
oh, so go on.
Oh no, I was just wondering, like, so basically, I mean, it's clear that you definitely had the itch of voice acting or of acting in high school and stuff. Like, did that like just grew from that point on, or was it? Did you what else? Like, did you go to school and get professionally done, or did you just basically, because of Newgrounds, it just kind of went off from there, you know?
It was definitely because, you know, it was just for a lark with the voice acting for my friends. Like, oh, I think it'd just be cool to be in like an online production, because I'd never like thought I would be doing acting as professionally as I am now. That was like never something I had in mind. It was just like, oh, this is a fun project. But I was doing theater because it was just you know, it's good for my mental health. It was fun. I enjoyed it, you know, because, you know, I was very self-deprecating still, you know, because I had, you know, body image issues and stuff like that. So like being in theater, I got to be a character that wasn't me. So it was interesting to kind of dive in that and be like, okay, I can just forget about my life for a moment and I can just be this character. And yeah, I did that, and they went in tandem. And as I did more online stuff, you know, of course, you know, doing the theater, because that's where I got the basis of my acting skill, is from the theater, and that just lent itself to the voice acting. So as I progressively went through that, I got more roles, I got better projects, and you know, some things that paid here and there, you know, nickel and dime stuff, but I was like, hey, I got paid. Oh, and also a big thing I should say, at this time, I had a lisp.
Oh, you had a lisp too on top of that? Wow.
Yeah. So instead of businesses, I would say businesses.
Oh, wow. So how hard did it take to did you get that? Did you get your lisp professionally trained, or did you figure it out yourself?
In middle school, I had like some speech therapy, but when I went to high school, I didn't really take speech therapy. Maybe I fixed it a bit, but it was still prominent, because NES sounds, my tongue would stick out. But no, I kind of went about this around a weird way. Basically, I would ask people, when you say this word, where do you put your tongue? And then I would watch videos of people like on YouTube and stuff, and like talking, and just kind of watch their mouths and how they said words and where it looked like they were placing their tongue.
You legitimately asked a person how that happened, like direct, like it had to be someone you knew, right? Like it wouldn't be just like a stranger.
Oh yeah, no, it'd be like friends or family. It'd be like, you know, I'm trying to fix this lisp. I'm just curious, where do you place your tongue when you say this word? So I kind of trained myself from there to correct that. So I would,
wow.
I didn't really. So I didn't go for professional help from high school onwards, because I think my mom was trying to help me in middle school, but you know, it didn't help. I can't remember that much, but I was like, maybe I sounded worse or messier. My speech was messier when I was younger. But yeah, no, I just watched and ask people where they place their tongue.
That is incredible. That's awesome, dude. That's really awesome. Jeez. And like, I mean, but like, did you, so what initially was like do you remember your first role, or would you say your first kind of big break into voice acting itself? Like, what was like your first job, legitimate job when you got into it?
Like, I'm thinking like that's still small scale, because I I still went when I went to college. I was still doing the acting, but I think maybe in high school I auditioned for something. It was like a little app game, you know, a little point and click thing. So I would say that was my first big thing because it was for, you know, it was like a legitimate game, and that you could get on your phone, and it paid. So that's where I say would be my first like legitimate thing. And from there, and you know, like Newgrounds too, like as I did more stuff, they did games too, and they would pay you because, you know, they ad revenue.
Newgrounds is such a random site though. Like it's so like, I mean, it was like they had the it was Flash players, Flash games. I didn't even know when you said that there was a RP form. I didn't even know they had that. Like,
yeah. I'm not quite sure if they had that anymore because that was like early Newgrounds.
Yeah, they had like news groups a long time ago. I mean, like it's like it's surprising how transformed Newgrounds has become from when it initially came out. But it definitely, God, that is such a long time ago.
Yeah, like people who started off there now working in like the professional industry. Like I know, like Smiling Friends was that show. Like a lot of like Newgrounds people created that. So it's like wild, like where these people started and where they are now.
I didn't even know that's what I didn't know that. That's awesome, man. That is
yeah,
so crazy.
Yeah. And but yeah, to fast forward to try to get to how I got into anime. So after high school, went into college, of course, did the theater there and loved it. Also, shout out to my favorite theater professor, Doris. You are my second mother. And I don't know if I'd be here now if it weren't for you. And at that time, as I got better and I fixed my lisp, Funimation had like open auditions. And I had already done some like stuff. I've done the college stuff, and then I did some local theater, and then some TV stuff here and there. Just background stuff. I remember distinctly one of them was Friday Night Lights, and I was like, you know, in the audience of a football stadium, but it was supposed to be like a winter game, but we were filming during summer, so we had to wear like winter gear. So we're out there just sweating our butts off at like, you know, for 5 to 6 hours.
Oh wow! There was a movie that I was in called Slap Her, She's French, and we were in it was when I was in high school. They made us wear like these. I was in the band, and then they made us wear like our uniforms in hot weather, direct hot weather, and I'm just like. It's like this is like Cruel and Unusual Punishment. So yeah, that
was it during the daytime too.
Yes, it was. It started filming in the day, but we got out at 2:00 in the morning.
Oh my gosh,
it was insane. It was terrible.
Yeah, the only grace was like we got to film at night, but you know, still like hot summer in Texas is still like the
sticky humidity. Oh, I'm sorry, I gotta cut you
off. No, you're good. But yeah, because when I didn't submit a demo. I just like, well, I have a nice little selection here of theater, some very few TV stuff, and some indie projects that I did. Like, actually, one of the like indie projects I did was for a Nickelodeon film festival, and there was like a category for like a 30-second like. Animation, and I voiced like a guy in a alligator or crocodile. Anyway, that won. So the winner got their animation showed on Nickelodeon. So I was like, oh, I can actually say like, you know, I was in a Nickelodeon thing. So submitted to Funimation, didn't hear for like basically half a year. Came in for an audition. I think the first thing I ever auditioned for was an anime called Level E, and didn't book anything there. But then a month later, I got called in because people come in and, you know, if they're doing like a general call, it'll just be generic. They'll have like sides from other projects. But my first 2 auditions were for actual shows. And my second show I auditioned for was Toriko.
Oh, nice.
I auditioned for a few characters. I was just like, man, I felt pretty bad on that one. I'm probably not going to get anything. And then a week later, it's like, hey, we want to cast you in Toriko, and we want you to be the narrator. And I was just like, what? Narrators in every episode. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, but it was very nerve-wracking as well because it was like, oh my gosh, this is I wasn't expecting this. I was expecting man to be, or like guys like, oh my gosh, look at that. But yeah, that's how I kind of officially got, and that was my first foray into anime.
Wow, that is like as the narrator. Wow, I have to say that is the most like interesting story I've heard. Right, like to get into voice acting, let alone anime. I mean, that is a crazy up and downhill battle there. But that's awesome. I'm glad you persevered and in the business on it. So that's great. That's cool. You said earlier that prior to that, that you were into kind of gaming and stuff before your the theater bug got you. But like what kind of like were you also like a I would say like an OG or a connoisseur, if you will, for like anime as well during that time too, or like what kind of stuff did you like? Did you have any specific shows or any kind of go to games or anime that you like to play?
Oh yeah, big time gamer. And because I didn't truly start watching anime until Toonami came on, so that was like my first introduction. So the classics. Dragon Ball Z, Tenchi Muyo, Outlaw Star, Sailor Moon, and whatever else they put on at the time.
It's funny because now when you told me the list right there, now I know you're a child of the 80s. so like when Toonami first came out, that was like what 96, I believe. Like
yeah, something like that.
Gundam Wing, all that stuff.
Oh yeah, Gundam Wing. Yes. All my depressed boys. Well, only one truly depressed. Well, there's a few depressed boys, but some of them were more energetic.
They had a clown. I mean, a freaking clown in one of these Gundams. It was insane to me.
Oh yeah, I think Toonami also did G Gundam too, that was the hardest Gundam.
It was.
God. Like reboot win or like sequel win. I don't know. That was like nothing comes close to that Gundam series, and actually that deserves like a rewatch for me. I should go back to that.
My favorite Gundam in that series was Mexico's Gundam because someone made
Tequila Gundam.
Yeah, they made. I mean, like the country made an open choice to put a sombrero on a freaking machine. And I mean, you can't say like someone has to be promoted for that. That was amazing to me. So I loved it.
What was the one? I could be wrong, Colin, but I know there was a Gundam that was just basically a giant windmill in its chest.
Oh, well, probably like, oh wait, I know exactly what you're talking about. I don't remember what country it was, but it was hilarious to me. Like Gundam Wing was too serious for me. Like although I did not like, what was his name? The main dude, Hero. I think it was Hero.
Yeah, Hero, I believe.
Yeah. Like I was like, man, this guy goes to space in bike shorts and a singlet shirt, and then like, it's like he wants to dress casual when he's in space like that. It's like no, thank you.
Like I need somebody who's a little more engaging. This guy's just like whatever. I don't care about life.
A rebel soldiers like to fight. Like what about gaming though? Like gaming wise, like what were you like, or what kind of games were you into?
Of course, the classic Mario's, Donkey Kong's, most Nintendo titles. But when I was younger, I was like not selective about games. I was like, Friday, mom, my mom would be like, okay, you rent a game. So I would like try everything. Definitely was into, as I got older, the RPGs, the Final Fantasies. Let me see if there's any deep cuts I can think of, anything obscure.
You didn't have that one that was like a go-to, or like you had to fit like a favorite that you would say like.
I would say one of the ones that I played obsessively. I haven't played it in years because I probably because I burnt myself out
Mhm.
When I was young. When I first got my PlayStation, did not have a memory card.
Wow.
So I got Final Fantasy VIII, and I would play it and see how far I would get each time before I'd have to turn it off.
Oh my God. That would drive me insane.
So I think I would get to the part where you fight Edna, the witch in that. So I think that was disc 2.
That's like
that's
20 hours in.
Yes, when it was summertime. Oh no, like I got proficient, so I don't think it was like it'd be like, okay, start early in the morning, and by like late night, be like, okay, I ended here.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no, I as a kid I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna get better and better. I can make this quicker. I want to get further. Also, oh gosh, how could I forget one of my favorite games, PlayStation era, Metal Gear Solid. That was one of my. That one hit different for me when I was young, and also that really like made me. I think maybe put the seeds of me being interested in voice acting, just like how cinematic was.
Oh yeah,
at that time, I wasn't used to that. Like as a kid, you know, when we were playing Final Fantasies, there was no voice acting. It was all dialogue based. Mm-hmm. So I was like, wow, this is something different. And just the story, the characters, it just really caught me. So I think that also kind of put the acting bug in me.
So that's pretty cool. I mean, I could easily see that, especially who was the voice? David Hayter, I believe, was the voice.
Yeah, David Hayter. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so like, yeah, I mean, you're right. It was definitely even for its time. I mean, it was very movie centric, I would say, with some of the cutscenes and stuff. So yeah, I would totally agree with that. But that's cool. Do you still kind of game now, or is it kind of when you have time? I would say, but
oh yeah, I've been going hard on that Elden Ring. Oh, Elden Ring!
Oh jeez, everyone's.
I've already put 71 hours in it so far, and I'm not even close to being done with it.
Oh no, it's just so close. I'm like, I haven't even touched. I'm afraid of even touching it just because I don't want to get hooked.
It is, yeah. You like? Did you like Breath of the Wild?
Yeah, kind of. I did. It was all right of a game for me.
Yeah, it's true. I felt like the world was a little empty, but with this, it's like, you know, so many games are open world now, but with this, it feels alive, lived in, because it's so obscure because the game doesn't hold your hand. And if you want, you like, they don't tell you like, oh, you can find a character here and here. It all just comes naturally because the game encourages you to explore. And, you know, you explore this area is too strong, so maybe I'll go over here. And then you run into some random character. Like one of the instances, like I was just out exploring and somebody's like, hey, you over there, come over here, help me out. It's like, what the hell? And then I'm just kind of looking around and I bump into a bush and it transforms into like this little monkey man. It's like, oh, thank you. I was transformed by these horrible people.
It's like Jesus, like random, like little these like little quests that come out throughout the game like that. You just walk up and it just happens.
Yeah, like you can just be walking. And these are things you can just completely miss if you're not exploring, and then you can just start this whole quest line, and which I think is so cool. Just makes the world a little more like grounded and real to me.
More alive.
Exactly, more alive. Because it's not like, you know, I can understand like the wanting it to be a little more user friendly, more accessible, that is to say, because those, you know, the Soul series is definitely marketed to not be very easy at all.
Yes, it is not. Yeah, definitely. So, but that's cool though. I mean, you need to like. I hope you like. Do you stream or do you just do this on your own leisure?
I used to stream. I would like to stream more, but gosh, I just like, because I started doing audiobooks, and so every time I'm like done with the day, I was like, I just need some me time. I've been doing voice work from here and there and there. It's like, I want to just chill out. I would definitely want to start streaming again.
That would make sense, though. I mean, like, if you're on front of a computer for 8 hours a day, the last thing you're wanting to do is be on a computer at home. So
exactly. I'm like, now I got to be on for an audience. Hey there, it's me, Chris Guerrero, here to play Elden Ring.
yeah, there you go. I like in that exact voice, and it's just like just because that'd be hilarious, but yeah, but no. I will say this though. I mean, I also know you're a big fan of One Piece, and it was awesome that you were like. I know you played like I said earlier, you did play like Gecko Moria, one of the 7 warlords in it. But I was actually kind of wondering like what your thoughts were about the announcement of a live action One Piece that Netflix is doing, and what are your expectations to a series like that that's going live action?
Of course, when it was first announced, there was skepticism because I'm like, how do you adapt One Piece? And the anime adaptations that have been coming out so far have not been well received. I think the only like anime based movie that I liked because they just went in like how crazy the world was the Speed Racer movie. And I know that's it's so over the top and so crazy. It's a fun movie because, you can just turn your brain off, and a lot of good actors in there too. Like, how could you not like John Goodman as Speed's dad?
Papa Speed.
Yeah. But when they started making, like, when they made the cast, when they announced the cast and the picture, was like, wow, this is a lot of good like casting. Like, I can see them playing these characters. And then they just made some more recent cast announcements, and I'm just like, wow, actually, I feel like the casting's very competent. I don't know any of these actors. So, I kind of like that too, like the mystique of it. Because they look very like appropriate to like who they're, representing. My only thing that I would be like curious about, because I don't know what the budget is for this, like the CG. Because obviously they have to do CG.
A ton of CG. Yeah.
But I'm cautiously optimistic about it.
Okay.
But if it's successful and they get to Thriller Bark, well, I assume Gecko Moria is going to be all CG. So why don't you get me?
Oh, I pray to God they don't do a live action for like they get an actor to play that a guy that like he's a giant bowling pin. We're crying.
I can wear a CG. I like a mocap suit.
You can wear the mocap suit. Yeah. With the crazy laugh that he did. I forgot that laugh. I forgot what it was, but yeah, I hate it. That laugh was so crazily random. But that's the thing with One Piece. They all have weird laughs and stuff. But but his is like high pitched, and it's just he did it all the time.
I think honestly that's what got me the role. Was because that was part of the audition side, was that laugh. So I think I think that's what kind of cinched it in for me. Because I'm also a huge fan of One Piece. And so when I had the chance to audition, I was just like, oh my gosh, oh my goodness. Because initially, funnily enough, I auditioned for another character. I auditioned for Brooke. And, but the thing about Brooke is, he sings, and I'm not much of a singer. So I was like, oh man, but I was like so glad to be able to audition for like the, characters for that arc. So when I got
played the bad guys in One Piece, I think would be a fun role to do though.
Oh yeah, no, I was like ecstatic because at first I thought I was going to play like this, one of his henchmen, Absalom, like the guy with the tiger lion mouth, and he could turn invisible. I was like, oh, I'm just going to be this guy. And I was like, so I'm going to, because the director, Mike, wasn't in yet. And I was just talking with the audio engineer. I was like, which character I'm going to play? It's like, I'll let that be a surprise for Mike to tell you. And then he comes in, he's like, well, you're the big bad for this arc. I was like, what?
That's a good surprise. That's a good surprise. I really like the idea that that you got the job, but you don't know what job you got within that until the day that you arrive for it. It's very, very interesting.
Yeah. Nowadays, they give you like a little, like a heads up, like, hey, we want you to be this character. And, they'll give you a name, and typically with like simuldubbing. There's a few episodes out already. Be like, okay, let me find this character. Because me, I like to know what I'm kind of recording for. I like to do a little research, or at least watch an episode to get like a feel of it. But back then, you come in like, okay, you got cast. You're like, who am I?
It's funny. Well, I mean, like I'm kind of torn apart with One Piece right now, like the live action version, because I don't know. Like, well, did you watch like the live action of Cowboy Bebop?
I've seen enough of like the clips online. I'm just like, I should just give it a watch to give it a watch, but like what I saw was not very appealing to me dialogue wise. It was the dialogue that made me go, huh?
Right. Well, like I think overall, I think that this could be like because like for me, like my comparison for a live action, like an anime turned into a live action adaptation. I think the best movie for that was the Kenshin series. When Rurouni Kenshin, like those movies just totally destroys it out the park with it.
Oh yeah, I forgot about those.
yeah. But normally, because like if Kenshin didn't exist, I feel that like they could make the best kind of series, but I don't know if anime fans would be on board on it though, because I don't know if it would be a matter of like, if people like the idea to transition for live action and their characters like that, because they haven't really made a good live action adaptation of any anime series, in my opinion, prior to any of this. And it's like, you're going to hurt a lot of the same community. So I want One Piece to be successful. I really hope that it's going to be good, but because I don't want it to do what Cowboy Bebop did, which was one and done. And more of the story to kind of that's out there, so that's what I'm crossing my fingers on.
At least with this, it seems like the people who are working with it, the actors, the director, they seem to have done the research and have a genuine love for the property. So I want to give them all my best, and I'm very curious of how it's going to turn out. Fingers crossed. I want it to be good, even if it's not the best. If it's competent, that's all I can ask for.
Yes, very much. Totally agree. Okay. Well, here's a good question for you here. You like have a very dynamic vocal range. Because like I was completely surprised like how low you can get your voice in certain roles, especially in Overlord. Because you don't sound nowhere near to that level normally right now. So I was like, was that something that you've been able to do, or did you learn that like to control that through like professional training? Like what was there a secret to it?
I can say I've definitely never taken like a voice class. It's always just been like acting classes. A lot of like what I can do with my voices, just me home alone, just like experimenting, just like, if anyone just walked in and is like, we got a man, is someone insane in this house? So it was just a lot of play when I was by myself, just, experimenting with things, trying to impersonate like actors or other voice actors. And also I would say one of the main reasons I can go that deep was because I had a lot of strep throat as a child. So it's always like I would be like consistently raspy and like also I had asthma bad too. So it's like,
oh no. Wow. Golly. Well, that's cool. I mean, so that's cool. So that's basically what you're saying. You're basically up with your mutant power. Okay.
Exactly. I can be like, hey, what's up? And like, hey, what's up?
That is so cool though. That's like, golly, don't like you'd probably freak someone out just normally if they didn't know who you were. It's like, wow.
I think it's so funny back in the day. There's an old recording somewhere where I was like, my teens, and I still had my lisp, and I was trying to do a Zabuza impression from Naruto. I'm Zabuza Momochi from the Hidden Mist Village.
That is, I don't know, I would able to take that ninja seriously.
Sounded like that. I'm trying to sound like this badass. Yeah. Also, of course, being a young kid, everybody had a snake impression.
Oh yeah.
I was definitely guilty of doing that too.
Oh god, that would be. So you reminds me of what's the Jim Carrey, the Cable Guy, when they came to that. That's what that would be. Jesus, were you like do you normally prefer like heroes to play the hero or the villain, and do you have like a reason and why?
Definitely villains, because they're fun. They can go in so many directions, and who doesn't like being a bastard man? I would say hero for the money. If you're a hero, you're probably in every episode. Lots of hours to get in, so big payday for the hero.
Well, I don't know. It depends on where you go. I mean, like you with Overlord, Einstein Gone. It seems like he's the villain. He seems villainous to me, though. Like it seems like that's what he's slowly kind of getting into more and more.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's which is it's like, which I think is cool. It's like, hey, let's make a show about the bad guy as the main focus. Which he doesn't think of himself as the bad guy initially, because he's just like somebody who is just thrown into. He's a victim of circumstance, basically, and he's just kind of like, as everybody does in like most of their lives, it's just like they're kind of winging it and hoping things go right. It's like, and of course, he has all his yes men, all the guardians of Nazarick. So it's like, Demiurge and Albedo. It's like, oh, you were actually planning this, like. Yes, I was indeed. It was all part of my master plan.
Like, did he have a different voice as in his inner monologue? Like his real life. I guess it's his real life persona. In his inner monologues.
Yeah, so there is definitely, and we based it off the Japanese too. Is like in his internal voice is like his human voice, and then his exterior voice is the Ain's voice. So also one of the main reasons I think I got cast in that role was because I could make that difference between my voice.
Your octave levels, like I said, like your octave, you wouldn't, like, if I would have saw you on the street, I would not know you would go that low. You'd be able to go that low. That it's amazing that you get your voice so low like that, and so cleanly too. So
yeah, because typically if we're doing like hours of Overlord back in the day, we would start with the Momonga voice, which was the internal voice. His real name Satoru Suzuki, but we call him Momonga because that was his game persona. And so we would do that first because, it's basically just my natural voice. And then we would switch over to Ain's because, that's more taxing on my vocal cords.
Mm, yeah, I can only imagine though too. And I mean, like, and him as a character though, Einstein Gone is already an interesting character in itself, because like what makes him very interesting is his growth, because from the first season, you're like, you as the viewer of watching Overlord, like you're rooting for him because it's like, oh, like you said, he's a victim of circumstance. But by like season 3, it's like he's kind of making some of these decisions where it's like, you're doing what? You just killed this guy that y'all were like cool with, for like you helped him out, and now you stabbed him in the back by killing him. It's like what is, like, I want to know, like, what is your personal opinion on like where this is going to lead him to go, if you had to guess?
Well, as it is, when we left off in season 3, he's basically taken over the kingdom of Riestes, and I'm not quite sure where he's going from there, because he's still trying, because his main objective is to find other players if there are any other players from his world that he came from. So that's always been his biggest objectives, were to find other players like him, and also to protect and keep safe Nazarick and all the NPCs, because he sees them as like his friends' children, because they all collaborated to make this layer, and they all work together to world build and make these characters. So he's kind of like ensuring, because it's his only connection to his friends are these guardians and other NPCs. So he holds them to like a very high value. And I definitely, in the first season when he fought Shaltir, it was very hard for him to like kill his best friend's like daughter in a sense, because he refers to her as a daughter. And, thankfully he was able to revive, because when he's in that, it's like, I don't know if I can revive her at all yet. So, because it was very like a toss of coins, like, because she got mind controlled, and then it's like, well, one of my rarest items couldn't reverse that, and because the only reason he can reverse that because somebody used a more powerful item. So it's like, well, the only way I can possibly see fixing this and is killing her and seeing if she will revive, and thankfully it worked out. But yeah, he the highest priority to him is Nazarick, the NPCs, and finding out if there's anybody else out there like him. And maybe, because it seems like now it doesn't seem like he has any really real reason to go back, because as it states in like the books, he doesn't have like any family left, any relations. He's just kind of a loner.
Right. Well, yeah, that's true. That's also true. But the way it kind of seems like because the main objectives to his goal, it does sound very simplistic that he was trying to find another person that's within the same world. But like the process of him doing that, like he basically made a trap for all for the mercenaries in his own town. Own area. They even do an introduction about like this one small party group of kind of like you'll be like, oh, they're a happy-go-lucky team, and then they get brutally killed by him and his minions and stuff, like the girl that was responsible of like the twin little girls, like her younger sisters and stuff. I'm just like, wow, this is getting a little heavy, like I'm just like I mean, then remember in the first season when he saved that one village, and then the village gets attacked again, but then the guy that asked him to save the village, he's like, okay, he does it, then turns around, season 3, kills the guy. It's like, wow, this is just a lot of like, I mean, just like the ends to justify the means is a very bloody trail of what he's trying to do, is what
and the sad thing about the adventurers, when the ones who go into the tomb, it's like they had a chance to be technically spared, but it was only because one of the characters did not voice their true intention. If like Arch, I believe, Arche, the one that Shaltir and at the end basically kills. If she had like said like, I'm doing this for my sisters, I believe he would have spared them. But otherwise, he just saw them as greedy and desecrating Nazarick.
That is true. Okay, fair point. I will agree to that.
So very, very extreme. Yes, like these are just cannon fodder. Like these people are greedy. They're probably bastards in real life who just kill for money. So if the world loses them, who cares? Yeah,
he grouped them. He grouped it up like because he only put the information that he had in front of him, which was basically what's it called? Miners of people, treasure miners and stuff to just go in his own tombs. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
And it was just a big experiment anyway, just to test the defenses of Nazarick.
That's also, yeah, that's true. But I mean, like,
it is like,
come on, man.
It is horrifying. Yeah. Cause he's becoming, more detached from his like humanity, which is like, which he like, you read in the book or like from the intro of the books is like, man, I'm slowly kind of like becoming not affected by like violence and gore and things like this. It just doesn't hit me like if I were human.
Yeah, because there were hints that he was starting to say he was saying that it doesn't faze him as much anymore. I do remember that, remember it. And that's what's kind of scary to me. Cause like now I know now they did announce the number 4 and I know you may not be able to see or whatever, but now since 4 is coming out, it's like, I don't even know what the heck is to expect about his character. And I'm kind of worried to be like, this guy is going to go full fledged because he's already like his minions and him are like ridiculously overpowered. So
Yeah. I'm very curious as well because I've been doing the audiobooks and I haven't gotten that far yet. So basically where I am in the books, I'm basically in season 2 of the anime, if that
oh
makes
yeah,
sense.
no, exactly. I know exactly what you mean because because I was going to say something about the light novels that they're
Oh,
starting to
cool,
do in the
cool.
deal. But like the one thing that I will say, I will admit to this, is like the one thing I hope that they do is maybe show progression of brain. What is his name? Brains, I believe.
Yeah, Brain Unglaus. Yeah.
Yeah. Because if he gets it to become like a Haas, which I hope he does, then I can understand like okay, because there's going to have to be a level of a check and a balance of some sort, and then I think that's where I'm hoping that's where he's going to be where he's going to have his time to shine, and hopefully
Exactly. And Climb too, because I feel like he has a ton of potential as well.
I'm
Because
really worried about Climb though.
yeah, with Climb and Princess Renair, I'm just like, uh-oh.
Yeah, that was like, oh, that princess too, crazy. Just drives me like that whole situation with that royal family in general. It's just weird. So I'll definitely go with that.
But I will say, with Ainz losing his humanity, I will say, but if you're under his rule and you don't defy him, he'll be like, yeah, you can live a good life. Because that, after like the Lizardmen, after he showed his dominance, it's just like, and it was only because Kokaido's just like, hey, these guys are cool. They basically, these guys are hardcore. We should keep them. It's like, all right, cool. We'll just learn how to govern people, and they as long as they play ball, hey, they'll live a great life.
That is true. That's still kind of like a dictatorship still.
Oh no, it definitely is. It's just like, don't defy me or you all die. But hey, you'll live a good life otherwise.
Oh, that's so funny. And like you were saying earlier though, because I mean, I like to multitask too, and because of that, I am a fan of audiobooks. And I was, to my surprise, that you are doing light novels. They're starting to do light novels on audiobooks itself now. And you are the author, like you're the narrator or the reader for the Overlord ones. And what was even cooler, was that you were since you were the voice actor of Ainz, and now you're doing the light novel version of a series that you've already did the mangaka for. Like overall, like how was your experience doing the same story in that kind of format?
I would say it was easier to transition into because I knew the story already, and just except with the books, there's just a little more detail. I would say like in the first book, it was more like technical details of like the game mechanics and all that. But it's just like little things here and there, just like more internal thoughts or like extra bits of dialogue. But it was funny because of how I was approached for the audiobook, because I got a random DM on my Twitter. It's like, hey, would you be interested in doing an audiobook? I was like, who is this? Like, what? And then I got a message on like Facebook. It was like, hey, I was trying to reach out to you. And I was like, here, have my email and contact me here. Because I thought it was odd because I had an email on my Twitter. But yeah, it turned out to be like legit. And I was like, oh, because like, yeah, when he sent me like a proper email, I was like, yeah, I'm with Hatchet Audio. They're doing the audiobooks through, Yimpress, like, commissions them to get the audiobooks done. But I was like, oh gosh, this is for real. And honestly, I never thought I would ever do an audiobook because I'm like, gosh, long hours of work plus editing. And then especially with, fantasy novels or any nonfiction, you got to do all these voices. So I was like, do I want to do this? It sounds like this could be tedious, but I was like, but it's Overlord and I'm really connected to the series. So I was like, all right, let's do this. So, and thankfully the first audiobook was very well received. Lots of reviews on Audible. And but that first book, it was like very much a learning curve for me because I'd never narrated a book before, and I was like pretty nervous. Like I've done narration, but never like long form narration like that. And of course, yeah, exactly. Like I'm gonna put, and with the Overlord series, they're on the shorter side because I know some books can be like 13 hours, 21 hours. Thankfully, usually the Overlord books go between 8 to 10. So very digestible, but still, if I'm doing all these other projects, I'm like, I got to get at least X amount of time in today if I want to meet the deadline.
Yeah.
But I've definitely got more efficient with it as the books went on. So it was, yeah, the first book, it was like, the last week I had needed to submit it. It's like editing, like just up all night editing. It's like my fingers are raw, my wrist hurts. I'm like, I'm freaking out. But it was a good experience, and I'm glad for it. And it has been a nice little bit of income that comes in.
Oh, that's cool.
But definitely. Oh, I'm sorry. Go on.
Oh, do you prefer that format over the normal, like, just the normal voice acting, than just doing the normal role of it in the anime, or?
I'd say like doing the anime. The only thing I like about that is you have the visuals. I'm only playing one character, and there's somebody else doing the editing. Because when I do the audiobook, I actually self-direct because my hours are so wonky that I can't like have like a really set schedule. So, I could be doing it like super early in the morning or like 2:00 at night or like midday. It just depends. So, which I was very grateful for. That was like, they trusted me enough to be like, yeah, you can just do it on your own time. Just be sure to, submit it by this time. But also, that comes into the problem, be like, I can do this anytime I want. And then you're like, oh gosh, I'm slacking. I need to get some stuff done today. And be like, all right, I've been narrating for 6 hours. I think I can put a pin in it today. Then you're like, oh great, I have 6 hours of audio to edit.
Oh my God. So you do the editing itself too? Like
not like the mastering or like I'm just cutting out mistakes I make.
Oh, okay. I got you. Kind of like I guess it's like doing a run on and you just wanting to have the best sentence out of the run, I would suppose, like that kind of thing.
Exactly. If I didn't like the read or I tripped up, I was just like, okay, so it's just a bunch of cut and pasting or just cutting. And what else was I going to say? Yeah, that's because also typically how I do approach the books now is I do the narration first, and when there's character dialogue, I will do da 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 da. Put dialogue here. Da 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 da. So it's a certain waveform, so I can just come to that, put some space in between it, and then when I'm done doing the little edits on the narration part, I have a separate audio file or audio track that I do all the dialogue in sequence, so I can just put it in that space I made in the narration spot. So that's made it much easier for me because I don't like kind of like doing narration than doing character voice and narration and character voice. I prefer just to be into like one mindset as I'm doing it.
Fair enough. That makes sense. Like there's no reason for you to kind of work that would if you didn't, otherwise it would be like you would be working harder for the same somewhat outcome. So
yeah, and it depends on the actor too. Like maybe some people will be like, oh yeah, I can just narration then into character. But then sometimes I'm like, oh wait, what'd this character sound like? And then I have to go back to an old like audio file and listen. Okay, that's the voice I did for them. It's like, oh, this character I did in book 2. They come up in book 4. It's like, dang. Let me go and listen to that reference.
Man, it just sounds very involved. That sounds really involved though in this one in the audiobook form.
Yeah, that is the thing. And it would be easier for me if I did do it at a studio with a director and had an engineer, but also like when I'm doing a book, like I stumble a lot. So I'm like, I don't want to waste their time being like, I'm sorry, I just keep getting the sentence messed up. So I'm just like, I like to do it on my own because I can just mess up as much as I want and be like, okay, I just got to cut all that mess out. And then, hey, we got a book, baby.
That's how books are made. Sweet deal.
Yeah.
Let's get that going. And I know I know you were also like the voice of Metal Cooler in the Dragon Ball Z Abridged series, you know.
Yeah. That was actually
yeah.
before I officially started doing Funimation stuff.
Oh, really? Because like, man, one of my favorite quotes that you had was, "Can you get that phone?" It's like, why? Because I fucking called it. And I was like, I just gave it to my friends all the time, and I'm just like, the way you did that point, I was like, it still stuck with me to this day. So there you go. But
that one, and what else is another fan favorite? Oh,
I'm gonna plant me a dumbass tree.
Yeah, so there you go. Oh, but like, were there like during that time when you were doing it, like, was there any kind of like, was there a lot of ad libbing, or was that just basically direct from like something in your own mind, or something that was gone from like, you know, the Team 4-Star themselves?
With Team 4-Star, they're very specific about their writing, and I'm not like somebody who like is like a comedic writer, so I would just go. You know, I would be 100% on their what they've written down, or if they fed me like something to say. And with anime too, there's not like, I don't ad lib a lot, and if there's anything, it's mostly just because like, oh, we need to cut like a word out of this line. It's like, oh, what if we cut this out, or what if we add this in just to fit timing. Like, let me think. Like, there is one thing that is a stupid line that I ad-libbed in this by the Sound Cadence Studios. It was a anime called Termai Romai, and it's basically about this man called Lucius, who's like this bathhouse architect. And, he's fallen on hard times. It's like, well, everybody hates my designs now. Maybe I'm just not fit for this anymore. And I play this character Marcus, who's like a mason worker, does statues and all things like that. And it was like, very salt of the earth guy. So we go hang out at the bathhouse and just relax. And Lucius it's like a reverse isekai. He gets sucked into like a hole in the bath house, and he pops up in like a modern bathhouse in Japan, modern day. So it's like, what the heck is all this? So he goes in the modern day, instills the innovative ideas, and comes back to his time. And one of the things was like cold milk, fruit milk. So he's like, gosh, I can't get the milk temperature just right. And then this random character comes up. It's like, sir, we have the milk. What am I supposed to do? And it's like, oh, well, get some more milk. And then the guy runs off, and I don't know what Marcus's original line was, but I was just like, Marcus likes his milkies. And they kept that in. I was like, what the heck? Oh, also, when I tell Lucius, it's like, oh, remember that bathhouse you almost drowned in? Well, they're going to tear it down. And it's like, wait, no, you can't do that. I got to go back to that place I was at. And I was like, wait, Lucius, where are you going? To get more milk?
What is it with them keeping the stupid milk line?
I don't know. I thought it was just funny.
And it's hilarious. And it's like, okay, it's like, oh, this is pure gold, never milk. Maybe they got sponsored by like a milk thing. I don't know, but that's hilarious. Oh, that's funny.
Because I just want to say, because I think we could get away with that too, because like that because I know they're making like a remake of it to like, with actual anime productions, because what it looked like in that initial one we worked on, it looked like a flash animation, something like you would like, it looked like some Aqua Teen Hunger Force like animation going on, like, Photoshop, and they would tween things. So it wasn't the best, but that's why I was like, we can take so many creative liberties with this.
That's perfect. Oh man. Okay. All right. I got one final question for you, Chris. It was really funny. What is one of the craziest or weirdest lines that you could remember that you had to say in any of the roles that you've done? Like, it could be anything that you can remember. It could be out of context, whatever. Like, what would be one of the craziest, funniest, or weirdest things that you said?
Okay, this one's also from Termai Romai, and this was a Wallace Essence show. We were all saying this together in unison.
Big dick energy, big dick energy, big dick energy, big dick energy.
And for context, Lucius gets sent to modern day, but he's at a Japanese festival. But it's also, it's like a real festival where it's like a penis festival. Yeah, fertility one. Yeah. So all our characters are carrying the huge wooden penis, and we're saying big dick energy. One of the funnest group sessions I've ever had. And we were just like losing our shit.
That is great. You know, it's funny. I actually went to that festival.
What?
Yeah. I went to that festival back in 2019. Yeah, I did.
I'm so jealous. I really want to. One of my personal things when I go to Japan is like, once the One Piece manga is done, I need to go to Japan, pay my respects, be like, God, like I can't believe, because I grew up with it. Essentially, it was like with like the Shonen Jump magazine. Then I transitioned to like the actual manga. So I was like, I gotta, I was like, that's been like bucket list things. Like One Piece ends, going to Japan.
Oh, that's fair. That is very fair. That would be very fair. And that would make sense because, it's funny. I was thinking about it. I was like, when did One Piece start? And then, I looked at it in this way that One Piece started when the very first Final Fantasy VII, it came out 2 years after Final Fantasy VII came out, which was back in 97.
Oh, wow. It was 99 then, huh?
Yeah, 99. And I was like,
wow.
Holy crap. And you're like, it's so crazy to me to think that there's a show that's still going on like that in the anime world. Well, I guess there's two shows, Detective Conan and that are the two shows.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that are just like, hopefully we'll stop sometime soon. We don't know when, but still. But that's ridiculous.
Yeah, because I can't believe we're technically, because Oda said what, like 70% done with the manga. We're basically end game, but like, what's that mean? 5 years, 10 years?
Yeah, because like when you think about it, he's only fought two of the four emperors. So like,
yeah.
So then and then that's not even including like what One Piece is. So
exactly.
Yeah. So then and I don't know if you heard recently, the servers got hacked, so now it's on for the people for the releases of One Piece. Now currently new episodes of One Piece is now indefinitely delayed because of their servers got hacked. Oh my gosh. So this is like very recent this happened today, yesterday.
Today?
I guess yesterday. Yeah, it's crazy. It is crazy. I know, right? It's like so yeah, because of that, there's gonna be a delay. And I mean, they've been doing this Wano arc for God knows how long already, and now we're just waiting. Now we got another random delay that's gonna take some time.
That sucks, but also I mean, like, okay, give some time for the manga to go a little further, so they have, be like, okay, we can do these episodes at like a leisurely pace, or be like, okay, let the manga go on, because what are they? I think they're like about 40 chapters behind with the manga right now.
Yeah, you're right. They're not that far off from where the manga is at right now.
Yeah, because they're about to get to like one of the hypest parts in the manga, like what people will call it, like roof piece, or basically with the big battle that goes on the roof. I'm like, oh man, that's like quite a point to be like, okay, we're going on hiatus.
It's like this is true. Maybe they that's what they need. You're totally right. Now they'll have some time to actually get a little bit ahead of where they're needing to be. But you're totally right.
But yeah, still like that sucks about it. Like
it does.
The hacker. Let me find them. Like, but then again, I get bet like every fan of like any like Toei and all that is like all the properties they have. Like, where's that hacker? We have something to say.
I bet you that. Yeah. Oh, it's probably already happening right now, man. I can only imagine. Oh, well, it was terrible. But Chris, thank you so much for talking with me. It was fun geeking out with you today. It was like, man, I'm so surprised at how long we were talking. It's a lot longer than I thought we were going to, but it's awesome. But is there any is there anything you want to plug, like what the next convention you're going to be at, where people can see you, or like where people can find you on social media and stuff?
I have a few cons coming up, but the only one that has been publicly announced is Anime Athens and Athens, Texas. So if you're local to Texas, come on over. And if you want to see what my other con announcements will be, go to at Chris Guerrero VA on twitter.com and then see me post all kinds of things, mostly art, maybe some cringe, and then some con announcements and some role announcements. Also, Overlord Volume 3, the audiobook, is now on Audible. If you make a free Audible account, your first book is free.
Oh, so there you go. That's some good upselling. Yeah, that's got to, may have to write that down. But yeah, that is great. Hey, but Chris, like, once again, guys, if you like the interview we had with Chris Guerrero, you can listen to that amongst other awesome interviews too. You could definitely go check us out on confreaksandgeeks.com or go to any of our podcasts, any podcast service to listen to it out there. So once again, this is Davis signing off. Y'all take it easy.